Welcome to Burundi, where a bicycle is a luxury.
Too many accidents happen daily. You could die. This should be banned immediately.
It's not uncommon to see children sleeping on sidewalks or in alleyways, not because they're lost, but because there's simply no home and no energy left from hunger. Even adults can be seen lying along the roadside, too weak to move, their bodies worn down by days without food. Burundi is one of the smallest countries in Africa, with a land area of just 27,800 square kilometers, roughly 10,700 square miles. Yet, it is home to more than 12 million people, making it one of the most densely populated nations on the continent. Despite its modest size, Burundi faces some of the most severe challenges in the world. It is often ranked as the poorest country on Earth, and the nation's GDP per capita hovers around just $200.00 per year. The average person survives on less than $1 a day. What makes Burundi's situation especially heartbreaking is how deep and visible the poverty truly is. Nearly 75% of the population lives in extreme poverty, and the signs are everywhere. Healthcare and education remain out of reach for much of the population, and job opportunities are almost non-existent. Young men can often be seen sitting idle all day, hoping someone might hire them for even the smallest task. Many are willing to do anything, manual labor, odd jobs, just to earn enough for a single meal. Burundi's long history of political instability and ethnic conflict has made it difficult for the country to grow or attract lasting investment. Corruption, weak infrastructure, and limited access to technology keep it trapped in a cycle of hardship. For those of us observing from afar, Burundi serves as a powerful reminder that while some corners of the world are moving forward, others are still fighting just to survive. Do you know what this is? It's called banana beer, or urwagwa. And in Burundi, it's more than just a drink, it's a lifeline. Made from fermented ripe bananas and sorghum flour, this homemade brew holds the spirit of resilience and the sweat of those who bring it to life. Behind every glass lies a story of sacrifice. Up on the northern plateau of Burundi, dozens of varieties are grown here. On the edge of Kayanza, the largest city in the region, farmers gather to sell their freshly harvested bananas to middlemen. This man is not just any buyer, he's a seasoned banana beer brewer. This is his craft, and he knows exactly what he's looking for. But getting those bananas to his house isn't easy.
I never bike the load myself, it's too risky. Even for an experienced rider. One slip on those rough roads could mean serious injury, or worse.
So transport falls to another man strong and steady enough to manage the weight. This man never went to school. Today, he's hauling 8 massive banana clusters on his bicycle, 160 kilos in total. It's back-breaking work, but it's how he survives. He makes the 15-kilometer trip to deliver bananas. That's when the real struggle begins. It takes him 45 minutes to reach the village. He's only 22, yet already supports a wife and 2 children. In one of Africa's poorest countries, owning a bike is a big deal. But it's not enough to change his life.
Riding a bike is the only thing I know. I've never done anything else. But what choice do I have?
For the past 15 years, this man has been brewing banana beer, locally known as umbubira, on the small farm beside his home. The process is deeply rooted in tradition, requiring just the right level of sweetness in the bananas before fermentation can begin. He doesn't work alone. His family and a handful of villagers assist him in every step of the production. A unique part of their method involves using freshly cleaned hay to help squeeze the juice from the bananas. This hay not only aids the process, but also imparts a distinctive flavor that defines Panfil's banana beer.
I know I'll never be rich, but at least my family has food on the table, we're together, and my kids can go to school. That's enough for me.
Banana beer plays a vital role in Burundian culture, not just as a local drink, but as a source of income, community bonding, and tradition passed down through generations. For many families, it represents both survival and pride in their heritage. The road to Bujumbura, Burundi's capital, is a winding 100-kilometer stretch of hills, serving as a vital artery between Rwanda and Tanzania. For over a decade, one seasoned truck driver has traveled this treacherous path by day, never at night. With no streetlights, narrow lanes, sharp bends, and deep potholes, driving after dark is simply too dangerous. But for those moving heavy loads by bicycle, the journey is even more grueling. The hills are relentless, and many riders, desperate to conserve energy, grip onto the backs of passing trucks. It's a risky shortcut, and the truck driver finds it deeply troubling. He knows they're endangering their lives, and his.
I could drive faster, but I know what's happening behind me.
One pothole or sharp swerve can send the hidden cyclists flying. He often watches in his rear-view mirror as crashes unfold. Some of those young men never get up again. Police have begun fining cyclists who latch onto trucks. And in recent years, the government has nearly doubled the number of traffic officers. Still, the accidents continue, many caused by reckless riders ignoring the rules. As the driver puts it plainly,
It's not just illegal, it's deadly, but they don't listen.
carrying 200 kilos on two wheels isn't just hard work, it's a daily battle for survival. In Burundi, delivery cyclists like Eric push overloaded bikes up steep hills, often using every ounce of strength they have. To keep going, they rely on simple meals of corn and hot milk to fuel their bodies. The journey from the countryside to Bujumbura can be as long as 15 kilometers, often downhill at dangerous speeds. Accidents are common, bruises and broken bones are almost routine, but that's not the only threat. In recent years, bicycle theft has surged, making life even harder for these hard-working men. For many, a bicycle is their only means of earning a living. Losing it means losing everything. Though one of the smallest nations in Africa, Burundi carries one of the heaviest burdens of poverty in the world. It has the unusual distinction of maintaining two capitals, Bujumbura, the country's financial hub near Lake Tanganyika, and Gitega, the administrative capital tucked into the rural highlands. Yet despite their official roles, both cities struggle with some of the same deep-rooted issues: poverty, unemployment, and a sense of hopelessness that hangs in the air like the dust on their broken roads. Infrastructure is barely functional. Streets are riddled with potholes and often unpaved, making transportation a constant challenge. Even in the capital cities, it's common to see young men sitting idle all day, waiting for work that never comes. There are no factories to hire them, no shops to manage, and no tourists to cater to. Unemployment is widespread, especially among the youth, many of whom are already responsible for supporting entire families. In Gitega, the poverty is especially stark. It lacks the energy of Bujumbura and remains largely cut off from economic opportunity. People there often survive by scavenging for discarded or rotting vegetables in local markets. They pick through piles of spoiled produce, swatting away flies, hoping to find something edible to feed their children. Children and adults can be seen sleeping on the streets, not out of choice, but out of hunger and sheer exhaustion. Even simple pleasures are out of reach. By law, beer cannot be sold before 4:00 p.m. to ensure that people stay productive during the day. But the truth is, most Burundians can't afford even one glass of beer. After a day of endless labor, or worse, sitting idle without a job, some people gather just to be near others, not to drink. To make things harder, on Saturdays, shops cannot open before 10 a.m. Everyone is required to clean the area around their homes and businesses as part of a government initiative. And in the midst of it all, order is expected. People must stand in line to board buses, no more than 5 to a seat. These routines may bring structure, but they do little to ease the weight of daily survival. Most goods in Burundi are imported from China, as the country lacks the infrastructure and industry to produce locally. This heavy dependence drives up prices, making even basic items unaffordable for many. With such low wages, families often struggle to buy essentials, let alone anything beyond survival. Pollution is a growing issue in Burundi's urban areas, with trash piling up on streets and limited waste management. The air is dusty and clean water is scarce. Alongside this, begging has become common. Children and elderly alike approach strangers, hands outstretched, hoping for a coin or a scrap of food. You might not understand Kirundi, the local language, but when the royal drummers of Burundi play, you'll feel something deep inside. These men don't just perform, they tell stories. Each drum beat speaks of rain, war, harvest, and kings. The drummers are part of a centuries-old tradition, once reserved for royal ceremonies and sacred rituals. Their drums, carved from hollowed tree trunks and covered in cowhide, are not mere instruments. They are living symbols of power and identity. Performances are breathtaking. Dressed in red and white robes, the drummers dance, leap, and beat their drums in perfect unison. The rhythms are loud, ancient, and complex. To watch them is to witness history in motion, heartbeat by heartbeat. Traditionally, only certain families could be drummers. It was an honor passed from father to son. Today, the royal drummers still perform at festivals and cultural events, though their status has changed. In 2014, UNESCO recognized this sacred tradition as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. In a country where many struggle to survive, the drummers remind people of pride. Their art is not just entertainment, it's survival of spirit. When everything else is uncertain, the drums still beat, loud, unshaken, unforgettable. In the early morning, before the sun rises over the hills of Burundi, you'll find women already walking, babies tied to their backs, firewood balanced on their heads, baskets of cassava in their arms. In Burundi, women are the invisible pillars of daily life. They carry water, raise children, tend fields, cook meals, and walk miles to the market, often all before noon. And yet, their struggles remain in the background, rarely acknowledged. Many girls never go to school. Early marriage and poverty force them into adulthood far too soon. Some walk for hours just to sell a handful of vegetables, earning barely enough for soap or salt. Others carry 40 kilos of bananas on their heads just to make $2.00 a day. But don't mistake their silence for weakness. These women are fierce. They form cooperatives, sell handmade goods, care for sick neighbors, and send their children to school, even if it means skipping their own meals. When men flee to cities or leave for work across borders, women stay behind and keep the family alive. They are the cooks, the protectors, the laborers, and often the silent leaders of their communities. In Burundi, a woman's strength is not in her voice, but in her steps, her hands, and the fire she carries forward every single day. In a country where nearly 75% of the population lives in extreme poverty and the average person survives on less than $1 per day, you might expect a sense of hopelessness to hang in the air. But in Burundi, something remarkable happens instead. Community becomes everything. For most Burundians, wealth isn't measured by what's in the bank. In fact, less than 7% of the population has access to formal banking. Instead, people rely on each other. In rural villages and crowded urban neighborhoods alike, neighbors share what little they have. It's not unusual for one struggling family to offer a cup of sorghum or a handful of cassava to another that's going hungry. Children are often cared for not just by parents, but by extended family and neighbors. In communities where healthcare is almost non-existent, with only one doctor per 20,000 people, locals form informal care networks. Elders offer home remedies, and people gather around to help the sick get through the night. Tradition plays a role in this deep social fabric. Burundi's culture emphasizes ubumwe, unity, and Ubuntu, a belief that one's humanity is tied to the well-being of others. This mindset isn't just philosophical, it's practical. Without it, many people wouldn't survive. Marriage ceremonies, births, and even funerals are communal affairs. Guests bring what they can, a chicken, a bag of maize, or simply their hands to help cook and clean. Even during the darkest days of civil war, many families risked their lives to protect neighbors from harm. That legacy of loyalty remains. In the cities, where economic life is harsher and competition for jobs fierce, this community spirit is tested, but not broken. Workers often pool their savings in small local cooperatives called tontines, where each member contributes a small amount weekly. When someone is in need, due to illness, school fees, or childbirth, they receive help from the pool. As one local man put it, "We are poor, but we are not alone." That's the heart of Burundi's resilience. In a world that often measures success by personal gain, Burundi offers a powerful lesson. Survival doesn't always depend on money. It often depends on one another. Burundi's natural landscape is a mix of rolling green hills, wetlands, and lakes that provide a quiet beauty, even amid the country's hardships. Although it's one of Africa's smallest nations, Burundi is rich in biodiversity, especially around Lake Tanganyika, the second deepest freshwater lake in the world. The lake supports a wide range of fish species, many found nowhere else, making it vital for both ecological and local food system. In the forests and national parks, you'll find rare species like chimpanzees, baboons, and colobus monkeys. The Kibera National Park, located in the northwest near the border with Rwanda, is home to Burundi's last remaining mountain rainforest. It's a sanctuary for hundreds of bird species, including the great blue turaco and crowned eagle, attracting birdwatchers and conservationists alike. Unfortunately, years of conflict and poverty have placed pressure on the environment. Deforestation and overfishing threaten delicate ecosystems, and there are limited resources for wildlife protection. Still, the people of Burundi hold deep respect for nature, often relying on it for food, shelter, and spiritual connection. With international help and growing awareness, there is hope that Burundi's natural treasures can be preserved for future generations. Burundi may be one of the smallest and poorest nations in the world, but its people carry within them a wealth of spirit, tradition, and resilience. Despite daily hardship, they live with dignity, uphold family values, and support one another in remarkable ways. From the thunder of royal drums to the silent strength of women carrying burdens with grace, Burundi's soul beats quietly but powerfully. Thank you for spending time with us to explore this extraordinary country. Your curiosity and compassion help bring light to lives too often overlooked. Until next time, take care. And don't stop discovering the world with us.